You've felt it, haven't you? That quiet ache when you realize, the more you understand the world, the less you belong in it. You watch people cling to illusions, praise ignorance and mock depth, while you stand there asking yourself whether seeing the truth was ever worth it. It's not that you're better than anyone, it's that you can't unsee what you've seen. And that, perhaps, is the real curse of intelligence, not knowing too much, but feeling too much in a world that refuses to think. Dietrich Bonhoeffer once wrote that stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice. He wasn't insulting anyone, he was warning us. He said that evil can be exposed, reasoned with, or resisted. But stupidity? It defends itself with sincerity. It feels righteous. It wears the mask of virtue. And when entire societies fall into this, when the blind lead the blind, intelligence becomes isolation. You start to feel like the foreigner in your own time. Your thoughts become too heavy for casual conversation. Your silence mistaken for arrogance. Your doubt seen as weakness. Nietzsche understood this. He called it the loneliness of the free spirit, the one who dares to think outside the herd. To him, most people would rather live comfortably in lies than face the terror of truth, because the truth doesn't soothe, it shatters. And rebuilding from that requires strength, patience, and pain most people never signed up for. Machiavelli observed that people don't want truth. They want safety. They follow the strongest illusion, not the truest idea. That's why politics rewards confidence over competence, image over insight. We mistake loudness for leadership, simplicity for wisdom, certainty for truth. In Plato's allegory of the cave, the man who escapes and sees the real world doesn't return as a hero. He returns as an outcast, because when he tries to tell others that what they see are only shadows, they laugh at him, or worse, they kill him. They don't want enlightenment, they want comfort, and that's the pattern we still live in. We mock thinkers and idolize entertainers. We fear complexity and celebrate slogans. We reward the illusion that everything is fine, and crucify anyone who says it isn't. But let's turn the lens inward, because maybe this curse of intelligence isn't only about them. Maybe it's about you. You crave truth, but truth isolates you. You crave meaning, but meaning demands sacrifice. You crave understanding, but understanding strips away your peace. It's a paradox few admit. The deeper you see into human nature, the harder it is to love it. The more you grasp about society, the less you fit within it, and so you hide. You learn to wear masks. You laugh at jokes you don't find funny. You play along with stupidity to avoid being branded difficult. You shrink yourself just to belong, but every time you do, a part of you dies, that rare, fragile part that once believed in something higher. And you start to understand what Nietzsche meant when he said, "Man would rather will nothingness than not will. We'd rather live inside a comforting lie than stand alone in the cold air of reality." Bonhoeffer, writing from a Nazi prison cell, realized something horrifying. The destruction of reason isn't accidental. It's engineered. When people are taught not to think, they become easier to rule. When they're taught to laugh at depth, they forget how to look beyond surfaces. When they're distracted by outrage, pleasure, and performance, they lose the muscle of discernment. That's why our world is drowning in noise, infinite entertainment, constant novelty, endless scrolling. All of it designed not to inform you, but to keep you comfortably numb. Because numb people don't rebel. Numb people don't question. Numb people don't see. So intelligence, real intelligence, becomes rebellion. Not because it's radical, but because it's rare. Because to think clearly in a culture built on distraction is to live in quiet resistance. And yet, there's a danger here too. The curse of intelligence can easily become the arrogance of insight. You start to despise others. You forget that you too are blind in different ways, that the same mind that perceives truth can also build new illusions. As Jung said, the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. Awareness doesn't free you from ego. It expands it, disguises it. You begin to feel superior to those who don't get it. But that's just another form of stupidity, one that wears intelligence like armor. The challenge, then, is not merely to see truth, but to stay human while seeing it. To let knowledge deepen compassion, not contempt. To think clearly, but love anyway. Plato once imagined that if the philosopher returned to the cave, his eyes, now adjusted to the light, would struggle in the dark. The others would mock him for his blindness. But perhaps that's the point. The purpose of truth is not superiority, it's service. The intelligent mind has two paths: to withdraw in bitterness or to return with light. The first path leads to despair. The second, what a meaning. Machiavelli saw the manipulation of the powerful and still wrote The Prince to expose it. Nietzsche saw the death of God and still wrote Thus Spoke Zarathustra to find what might rise from the ashes. Bonhoeffer saw humanity's stupidity and still chose to die for its redemption. The great thinkers didn't retreat from humanity. They confronted it with eyes open. They turned their curse into courage. So maybe intelligence isn't a curse after all. Maybe it's an invitation, a call to endure the loneliness that comes with clarity, to accept that most will never see what you see, and to love them anyway, to live as a witness, not a cynic. The world doesn't need more detached minds. It needs awake hearts, because awareness without empathy becomes cruelty, and truth without beauty becomes despair. So when you feel the weight of understanding, don't run from it. Carry it like fire, because someone, somewhere, still lives in the dark, and your light might be the only one they'll ever see. Maybe that's the secret no one tells you. The world will never reward your depth, but it desperately needs it. You may feel cursed to think, to feel, to question, but in that burden lies your gift, because the only thing more terrifying than seeing the truth is living your whole life and never opening your eyes.